Hello and welcome to the Fedora Files. I am Gregory Fedora, and with me is my good friend, the protagonist of the paranormal, Chip Stetson. Welcome.
How you doing?
I am doing good, and the holidays are over, and
Oh,
I
thank
wanted,
God.
yeah, they're done, and we had that fun little Christmas episode we did, but you've done some adventuring around the country, different places, and one of the hot spots you have hit is like kind of like almost like a mecca for people to go to
It
for
really is.
paranormal.
They
And
call it the most haunted bar in America. So I mean, it's one of the ones that everybody that is interested in paranormal activities flock to. I mean, it's just something that everybody wants to experience themselves,
yeah,
just
it
because
is.
of the wide range of things that happen there.
Yeah, and it's been on numerous shows.
Yeah,
But it's Bobby Mackey's Music World, right? Is that
yeah,
the name of the bar?
that's
And
the name of the bar.
and so you went there, and tell us about just in general. How about you just tell us in general what the stories are that people say happen, and then you tell us what you found out in your research and as you went around.
Well, it's kind of funny because I went in with one mindset because of the stories that I've heard, from all the television shows. And after going there and hearing firsthand from people that work there and the history of the actual history of the place, I found out that a lot of the stories that you hear are bunk. They're false, made up, just pure dribble. It was kind of depressing in one sense because you go in with one mindset expecting to see different things or hear different things, and it was completely different. But I mean, the stories that they had were still very, very interesting. For instance, the, they said that Bobby Mackey's back in the day used to be a slaughterhouse. Well, they can't actually prove that. And one of the things that they relate towards the slaughterhouse was there's a hole in the basement they call like the portal to hell. And the thing is, there's a few stories about this. They said that that's where all the blood from the slaughterhouse used to drain into, so it went out into the Licking River. There's also a story about a murdered young lady that was beheaded, and they said that rumors had it that her head was thrown down this hole. The actual fact is that they can't prove that there was ever a slaughterhouse on that site. There's one in the general area, but they can't prove that it was actually where Bobby Mackey's is. The second thing is the portal to hell. It's not a well or anything like that. There used to be a distillery, and what they had was this giant machinery thing on top that actually sucked the water up out of the licking. So it wasn't necessarily a well, but I mean, it actually drew water out. And when this head was supposedly thrown down this hole, there was actually a big piece of machinery over it. So it would have been impossible for them to throw the head down there. Now, they said that they never solved the crime, but there were two people that were arrested for her murder. And the thing is, the reason why they couldn't find the head was one of them worked at one of the local universities in the medical school, and they had a crematorium down there, and they think that's where they disposed of her head. They ended up getting arrested because they went to a restaurant, checked the bag at the hat check place, never came back for it, ended up getting arrested. The people at the bar restaurant that he had checked in it recognized him, called the police, said, "Hey, check this in." Found the bag. It was empty, but there was a lot of blood and stuff in it. So that kind of helped get them arrested and incarcerated. So that's one of the stories. Another story is they had a caretaker there. His name was Carl Lawson, and he claimed that a ghost came to him in the middle of the night, a young lady, and told him to go into the basement and start digging and digging and digging and digging. And apparently he's found like a diary, and it was of this young lady named Joanna. And they actually Bobby Mackey wrote a song called Jalada, which is probably his most famous song. It's not bad. I like it. And it talked about how she was the daughter of a mafia guy. And this is actual fact. The mafia did have a hold on Bobby Mackey's during the first, I don't know, maybe between 1930s through 60s. So that's actual fact. And she fell in love with the lounge singer. Her dad didn't like him, so he had him hung in his dressing room. And then she ended up trying to kill him by poisoning him. And then she commits suicide. Well, the problem is there's no history of anybody committing suicide, any murder, anybody getting poisoned, and Carl Lawson never showed this diary to anybody. So it's taking his word over actual fact. Now, Carl, he was kind of touched in the head. He claimed to be possessed. They actually did an exorcism at Bobby Mackey's. That is true. And you can go on YouTube and see the video. It's kind of disturbing. But yeah, he was kind of a interesting fellow. So also in the basement, excuse me, next to the portal to hell, there's a set of there's a set of stairs that go up to nothing. There's there's like a ceiling over it. And they call it like portal to hell. They got the stairway to heaven, and they don't know where these stairs came from or why they're there. Well, the reason why they're there is because they actually lead up to where the mafia used to have their office, and they take people that did them wrong into the basement. They even had like a small cell. Now, we don't know what they did with these people down there, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people that probably did get killed, but nothing's recorded, of course.
Yeah.
There's actually only one recorded death that ever took place inside Bobby Mackey's. It was during a bar fight, and two guys started, getting into a skirmish. One guy got hit, fell down, hit his head on the toilet, broke his neck or had an aneurysm, died. Yeah. That's the only recorded death that they have at Bobby Mackey's. But because of the mafia and everybody that went through the stairs in the prison and stuff like that, there's a lot of belief that a lot of people did die. Now, the last thing that you've heard on a lot of these shows is there was a room where there was a pentagram on the floor where satanic rituals took place. There was never one ever found. There's a room where there's a lot of scratches and things like that on the floor, which, I mean, if you really stretch the imagination, maybe might look like a pentagram, but nothing has ever been found. So it's just a lot of,
Well, I mean, it was a distillery, so they had heavy equipment. So
right. And they're going to be dragging stuff all over the place. And, it's a lot of made for television stories with these ghost hunting, adventuring groups. If I don't know, it makes for better television, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, while I was there, Bobby Mackey still performs every weekend. He's still around, and they're open, I think, Friday, Saturday, closed on Sunday, but then they offer ghost tours during the week. It's a separate entity. They're not affiliated with Bobby Mackey's, but they do have keys. They do have permission to go around and show people everything. There's a lot of different areas where you can see shadows move. There's a room that has a mechanical bull and a couple pool tables, and one of the things that they like to do is set a pool ball next to one of the pockets. And one of the stories that I was told was a lady saw a shadow figure in the back, and the lady that was with him said, well, talk to him. She was like, well, can you move the pool ball? And it dropped into the pocket as soon as she said that. It was just like perfect timing. She said, I've never seen anything like that happen before. One of the most haunted places actually is in the basement where the dressing rooms used to be. If you go in there, you can actually hear people talking, and it's kind of disturbing. There's one guy that has a shuffle that people hear. He like drags his feet along the concrete floor in the basement, and people can hear that shuffle while they're sitting still. So there are entities that people have heard and seen, but not necessarily from the stories that they're telling you from the television shows.
So you're saying it is haunted, but not necessarily for the stories we know. And the portal to hell sounds more like it was a siphon to make whiskey.
Yes, that's exactly right. Absolutely.
But I guess if you drank too much, your life could be hell. So maybe.
Well, I haven't got to that point yet. I mean,
yeah, I know you haven't reached that.
I'm not sure where that too much point is. I'm trying to find it. I am. I'm trying to find it.
I mean, they should reopen the distillery and have Bobby Mackey's whiskey.
That would be an amazing marketing gimmick. I mean, Bobby Mackey spirits.
Exactly. There
You
you
know?
go. Yeah. Bobby Mackey Spears. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to start doing this, and we're not going to see it die.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's all right. It's all right. We give them ideas. They can do what they want with them. But
Yeah, we
so,
just have our pictures on the label. Back to something like that.
so you did you actually experience or see or hear these different things that, like you talked about the room where you could hear voices? Were you able to hear stuff or?
When I was in the basement, it was unusual. I could hear voices, but they were very unintelligible. You couldn't
Okay.
hear what they were saying, but you could hear voices, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
We didn't hear the scraping while we were in the satanic room. Apparently, there's a child there, and they recommend for people to bring children's toys. And sometimes, you go in there, there's like teddy bears and things like that. We were upstairs, and there was a Matchbox car that was on the floor, and she had no idea how it got there because it wasn't there when she locked up. So maybe the babe or the child ghost took it from downstairs and brought it upstairs. Um, uh, I didn't see anything with the child, and there's they say like when there's a child spirit, it might not be a child but a demon
Mhm.
or something,
Yeah.
imitating a child. I'm not sure. It sounds like they were pretty confident that this was an actual child and
Okay.
not
But
something
what's a
else.
child doing in a bar? Who
Well,
brings a
if you
baby
go
to a bar?
downstairs, there is actually a house that is still there in the basement. And what they did was they built a restaurant after the distillery, before the bar and before the mafia, and they had like a restaurant up top. Well, they also were bootlegging during the
Right.
prohibition times, but they still have the walls of the house in the basement. They never tore them down, so you can see the
Hmm.
outline and the windows and such downstairs. So they think that the child that's haunting the place might have been a child that passed away during that time that was living in the house. It's really kind of cool because, I mean, going in, you see the dressing rooms, you see this long stretch of everything, and there's a house down there. It's kind of out of place. Oh, and one thing they do have down there, they have the I think it was the mechanical bull from Urban Cowboy. He
Oh,
ended up buying it. They got it downstairs in the basement. It's kind of cool.
I thought he should put it upstairs. People would love to ride that. Or maybe it
Well, they
doesn't
they,
work
ha- they
anymore.
have one upstairs, and
Mhm.
it's more modern. It's got like the bouncy floor, so when you fall off, you don't get hurt. But no, it's actually pretty cool. I actually want to go down there when the bar is open itself, and grab a beer, watch the band, and see what
Mhm.
it's like when there's a lot of activity. Not
Yeah.
necessarily paranormal, but just people there.
Yeah.
I don't know. With more people, it might stir.
Celebrating the other spirits.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that I got to do it. I'm glad I went there. Um, One of the reasons why they didn't think there was quite as much activity as when other groups were there was because we found out during the tour and the investigating, one of the guys there was a priest.
Oh,
So they think that he might have you know kept people or kept ghosts away while he was there.
yeah. They fenced a holy man, and they're like,
Yeah. Well, it was funny because one of the guys that he was with, he's from New Orleans, and both of them like traveling around and visiting different places. And he actually said he grew up in a haunted house, and
hmm.
he saw shadows and people walking by his door while he's a child, sleeping, and wake up and see something walk by his door, kind of like Sixth Sense,
Hmm.
where that guy just walked by it into the bathroom. And you're like, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
So he had a lot of experience with it. So we had a good group, but they think that since the priest was with us, he wasn't wearing a frock or anything like that, just regular clothes. So we had no idea. We think that might have been one of the reasons why we weren't getting quite as much activity. But we still got some. Got to hear, like I said, we got to hear some voices. Saw some shadows moving around, but nothing that really popped out. But it was more fun listening to the actual history of it, what other people had experienced, and then seeing the different places in the bar. One of the more popular places you see on the shows was the upstairs where Carl Lawson used to live. We weren't able to go up there because they found out that it was infested with asbestos. So
Oh,
that might have been one reason why he went crazy. I don't know.
yeah. Is he still
So
around, or did he die?
he died.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's no
That
longer
may have
around.
been
Bobby
why.
Mackey. Yeah, I'm not sure if he died from asbestos or not, but yeah, he's no longer with us.
Oh, okay. All right. So you couldn't go talk to him and find out more about him. So he,
I don't think I'd want to. Like I
no.
said, he was a little touched, and
Mhm.
I mean, just listening to him and seeing him on different videos. In fact, one of the programs that him and Bobby Mackey and his wife, Bobby Mackey's wife, I think her name is Wendy, they all three of them appeared on the Jerry Springer show.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
not sure what it was about, but yeah, I was looking through the different appearances that they've done on different shows, expecting to see, like different paranormal shows, but it said Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of fun. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I can believe that,
Yeah.
I really could.
As long as it's not Maury Povich, because then he might have been Billy Mackey's child.
Yeah, no, or I don't know, or lied about, they do the lie test, the detector, and then found out that he was, full of crap about the whole diary thing. So yeah, Maury would have been a bad choice, but Jerry, why
Anything
not?
goes there.
Yeah.
So do you have any trips planned for this year of places you might be headed or you're
I
thinking
haven't
about?
I haven't thought about it really. I was thinking about throwing it out to everybody watching and see what they'd be interested in hearing about. Where would they want me to go and take a look at, investigate, and come back and talk about? So
Mhm.
I'd be open to different suggestions. Like I said, so far we've done Savannah, Georgia. You and I did Gettysburg, which was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
We did Eureka Springs, and we also did uh, Ohio State Reformatory, which
Yeah.
was really good, and then Bobby Mackey's. So we're
Yeah,
getting
we're gonna have to sit down and talk about Savannah some.
yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of the places that have the ghosts in Savannah, I visited, but there were businesses, so they were kind of hard to get into. But I do know the stories. I was able to get a lot of pictures of the exterior. One of them is actually a restaurant. But no, that place is a wild history of haunted stories and spots and just a lot of paranormal activity.
Very cool. But I know you got things to do, and we're
Mhm.
gonna be planning on getting your show going.
Yep.
We've
The
been
first
messing
one,
around.
yeah, the first one kind of had a little bit of a audio problem. So you and I are working on that, and we hope
Yes,
to have that fixed and start getting those
the Ghost and Goblin show. Get it up and
up,
running for
up
you.
and running. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah. I am
Can't
too,
wait.
because you have a lot of stories that you know, and I
Yeah.
can't wait for you to share them. So
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being able to share with everybody.
yeah. Well, and for those of you listening, go check out Bobby Mackey's if you're over there, and always come back here and listen to Chip tell some stories, and check out fedoracrt.com for the other monster and ghost stories, as well as more podcasts, as we have a lot of different guests, and it's always an eclectic, fun time. And again, thank you, Chip, for coming on. I always like having you show up,
Well, I
and
appreciate it. Thank you.
and we're gonna have to have you back, obviously, to talk about Savannah.
Yes,
And
look forward to that.
yeah, I do too. And for those of you listening, as always, stay safe and keep searching.
The Fedora Files.
Check out fedoracrt.com today.